Here's a question for you. Who is the bigger action star of the 1980s? Arnold or Sylvester Stallone? That's that's a good question. Who has more underrated movies? Ooh. Who has one that takes place in a jail that features Donald Sutherland? Lockup from 1989. I don't know. I feel conflicted about this one. On one hand, we have a gritty prison drama. We have Frank, who has 6 weeks left on his sentence, and he's in minimum security prison. You know, he's able to go out, spend time with his wife, and even talk to the people in like as he's returning, able to talk about like the Jets, you know, the football team. I'm like, okay, that's pretty cool. But then he gets transferred because he escaped from a brutal prison guard in a maximum security set, portrayed by Donald Sutherland. And what follows is definitely not the Shawshank Redemption or the Green Mile. Instead, what we get here is the torture and toughness that Stallone displays and what he has to go through. Now, when they actually have the and when they actually have him, you're like saying all this crap that he has to endure. Yeah, we get this one guy named Chives, or whatever. Yeah, this guy is like the head. He's like the head convict or whatever, and he is, of course, taking orders from Drummond, who portrayed by Sutherland, and you know he feels like he's going to be a threat. He is, and he isn't. It's like I don't know. It's like there's a lot of stuff that's going on in this movie where it's trying to be a mature, serious tale, and sometimes it is. I mean, when they're like doing a football game, we get to see the resiliency of Stallone because no stunt doubles were used. So yeah, it's like obviously the tackling and everything else. We're thinking like, oh yeah, they're starting to respect each other, but then the disliking for each other comes back, especially when Shivs or whatever tells a guy named First Base saying, "I want to get you later," and then lo and behold, he does get him later in such an over-the-top fashion. I'm just like, what is going on here? I'm like, yeah, I want to see more of this. I mean, I also liked it when they take it like straight out, like influence straight out of Papillon of all movies, when he's sent to 6 weeks in solitary confinement, and you know, rather than just have him actually like learn from it or whatever, they say every time that you hear the light, you stand and say your number and everything. And they do this relentlessly, you know, just torturing the poor man. And they even cut his rations in half, which I did look that up. That is actually cruel and unusual punishment. That is completely not allowed. They would just like give them bland food instead because they had to meet caloric content. Anyway, yeah, that was rough. They said it's a freaking bright light. They say name and number, and I'm just like, jeez, you know, that goes on for 5-10 minutes, and it is hard to watch. And of course we get some of the friends, I guess, that Stallone meets up on Dallas, First Base, and some other person, and I'm like, okay, what's going on here? What is going to happen here? Why are we getting about roughly halfway when they're working on the warden's car? We are suddenly getting Grease 3 inside the prison. We even get Calliope music. What? You know, merry-go-round music? As they're fixing it, we get a montage. What the heck? I'm just looking at it and I'm like, why are we seeing this? I thought this was supposed to be a mature picture about the reality, like the what's the word I'm looking for? Just the way how some maximum security prisons can be, but instead we're getting the adult version of all the greasers from Greece in jail restoring a car. One of them takes the car out and spins it around because he's never driven before, which causes the six. Because Stallone just happened to be right there, guilt by association, he gets the 6 weeks. I'm like, what? Well, then we get right back to first base, who's supposed to clean the gym, so it's already clean, but then he's gets taken over the weight bench and gets executed, I guess you could say, prison guillotine style. You can infer the rest from this. I'm like, what? I mean, yeah, that's what I want to see. I also want to see more like the escape plan that they were going to do. Like I said, a reverse Shawshank Redemption, saying, hey, we have to go 160 feet over 150 degrees of steam pipe pressure. That would have been freaking intense to see, but instead they go, it's like saying, hey, Dallas set them up, and now just when you think that's going to be garbage, instead we get all the corrupt guards coming in, and it's up to the two of them to stop, and Dallas redeems himself by bringing in a little cord or whatever, checks and eliminates himself and a guard. Finally captures the bastard, and we get to see some dang good speech by Sutherland. He has a mustache, and he admits that, yes, I did it, and all the meanwhile, all the guards are hearing it and everything. And and it's like, yeah, just when you think that when you think about Stallone's about to shock the warden, he does not, because he's just be playing right into his hands. So the warden gets arrested and gets freed. I'm like, yeah, that's what I'm like. It felt conventional, tropish, cliched, whatever. This movie is all over the place. It just, even Sylvester Stallone himself is saying, like, it didn't really make an impact on my career. It just felt not mature and just didn't work. That's what I noticed. It didn't work. I don't know what Sutherland's opinion about it is, but he is good given the material. I will say that. John Amos as a guard is also good as well, especially when he redeems himself in the end. I like that. But yeah, this movie is just tonally inconsistent. I mean, it's still not bad. It just needs some more work, in my opinion. But yeah, despite all that, I, to a point, recommend that you watch Lock Up. It's like I said, this movie's okay, alright.